Hello everybody, hope you all doing well. This video is very important for the people who are planning to visit Canada and they are confused between visitor visa and super visa. We will discuss in detail difference between both visitor visa and super visa, and we will try to address in the end of the video which type of visa is most suitable for you as per your situation. But make sure you guys watch this video till the very end so that you can get max out of it. Before we start this video, if you are coming to our channel for the very first time, please consider subscribing to our channel to get most up-to-date news, tips and tricks about Canadian immigration. We try to make people self-dependent. Let's start with today's topic, visitor visa versus super visa. Many of our subscribers to our YouTube channel have raised this question that which visa should they apply? Should they apply for visitor visa or should they apply for super visa? As these two types of visas are very famous and people apply every day. So there is a big confusion. Which visa should you apply based on your profile, status, etc. We will discuss all these details one by one. As we know that super visa and visitor visa both are different types of visa, but there are some similarities between these two. So let's check first the similarities between super visa and visitor visa. The very first similarity between these two visas is that both are temporary visa to visit Canada, and these types of visas do not provide permanent residency of Canada. Both visitor visa and super visa has almost same application process. It has same application forms and documents. If you get visitor visa or super visa, then you are not legally allowed to work inside Canada. Both has similar application fee of 100 Canadian dollar. Both has same biometric fee of 85 Canadian dollar. In both visa types, you must provide your strong ties to back home so that there are maximum chances to get accepted. Before we discuss differences between super visa and visitor visa, I want to mention if you want to apply visitor visa or super visa for your parents, you can visit our YouTube channel. You can find here detailed video on how to apply parents visitor visa for Canada, how to apply super visa for parents, how to prepare invitation letter, how to prove strong ties to home, what are the most common reasons for refusal, what is minimum bank balance required if you want to apply visitor visa or super visa, which documents are required if you want to apply for Canada visa. So these all videos you can find on our YouTube channel, and be independent. So let's go back. Let's discuss here what are the differences between super visa and visitor visa. The very first difference between two visas, which is very important, is success rate. If we look at success rate of visitor visa, then you will find that visitor visa has low success rate as compared to super visa. However, super visa has a very high success rate as compared to visitor visa. So you should always explore which visa you should apply, which visa most suitable for you. Let's move to second point, purpose of visa. So we need to address here what is the purpose of super visa and what is the purpose of visitor visa. Any person from any country who is living outside of Canada can apply for Canada visitor visa or tourist visa. So under visitor visa, any foreign person can apply or come to Canada for tourism, to visit family member, or to visit a friend, or for business trip or meeting. But on the other hand, super visa is only for parents and grandparents. Let's say you are living inside Canada and you are permanent resident or citizen of Canada. Then you can sponsor your parents or grandparents to Canada on super visa. So you cannot sponsor your brother, your sisters, or any other family member to Canada on super visa. So in short, on super visa you can sponsor only your parents and grandparents. Let's discuss next point. How long you can stay inside Canada on visitor visa and super visa. It is very important to note that on visitor visa you can stay maximum of 6 months or lesser inside Canada. But here I want to mention a very important thing that visitor visa can be single entry or multiple entry visa as well. Mostly you get visitor visa for 10 years or as per your passport expiry. But on the other hand, super visa has 5 years on single entry and it can further be extended by another 2 years, so you can stay inside Canada for 7 years with single entry. Super visa is always multiple entry visa that is valid up to 10 years or it depends on your passport expiry. So in short, visitor visa can be single entry or multiple entry, but on the other hand, super visa always has multiple entry visa and it has longer duration of stay. So these things are very important. You should always consider while applying for Canada visa. Let's move to next point. Who can apply for visitor visa and who can apply for super visa? We will address here a very important question that who is eligible for visitor visa and who can apply for super visa. You can get visitor visa for Canada with and without invitation letter or sponsorship letter from a family member or a friend or a business conference and meeting or any relative who's living inside Canada. Without sponsorship letter, you can apply for tourist visa as well. For that, you need to have very strong profile so that there are higher chances that your application get accepted on the very first time. There are many factors which come in play to get visitor visa. For example, your travel history, your finances, hotel booking, etc. On the other hand, super visa is only available for parents and grandparents. For example, you are living inside Canada and you are permanent resident or citizen of Canada, then you are eligible to invite your parents and grandparents to Canada on super visa. In short, if you are a student or on work visa inside Canada, then you cannot bring your parents or grandparents to Canada on super visa. Here I want to mention a very important thing that if you want to sponsor your parents to Canada on super visa, then you need to mention on invitation letter very clearly that you will be providing financial support for your parents for their entire stay inside Canada. In other words, sponsor must provide a written and signed promise that he will provide financial support for their parents during their stay inside Canada. So let's discuss next point, if there is any income requirement to get visitor visa or super visa for Canada. This is very important to note that for visitor visa, there is no official income requirement for sponsor. Sponsor is the person who is sponsoring from Canada. But I would recommend sponsor to provide income source. On the other hand, for super visa, to sponsor your parents to Canada, sponsor must need to meet or above income cutoff LICEO for the total number of people including your visiting parents or grandparents. You need to check your income according to this table. Let's say you are living inside Canada alone, you want to bring your parents to Canada, then total number of people will be 3, you plus your parents. So you need to check your income as per 3 persons and it must be met. See if you are eligible. If your income doesn't meet this table, then you are not eligible to sponsor your parents or grandparents under super visa. I will leave a link in description for low income cutoff, which is LCIO. You can find in description. Let's go to our next point, medical insurance. For visitor visa, there is no official requirement to have medical or travel insurance to visit Canada. It is totally up to you if you want to buy travel insurance or not. But for Super Visa, medical insurance is mandatory, and it is mandatory to provide proof of medical insurance. For Super Visa, medical insurance has to be full paid or in installment with deposit. Quotes are not accepted, just to remember. For Super Visa, medical insurance has to be valid for 1 year from the date you will enter to Canada. Your medical insurance must provide at least 100,000 Canadian dollar emergency coverage. Here I want to mention that medical services inside Canada are very expensive. I would suggest you to buy medical insurance even you are coming to Canada on visitor visa. Let's move to our next point, medical examination. For visitor visa, there is no official requirement for medical examination as you are coming to Canada to stay for less than 6 months. But for Super Visa, medical exam is mandatory. As your stay under Super Visa is more than 6 months, so you will need a medical exam as per official guidelines. You can provide upfront medical exam or wait for medical examination letter once you submit your application. Let's move to next point. If your visitor visa or Super Visa is accepted for Canada, then we have a question that can we convert our visitor visa or Super Visa to work permit? So we will address this question here. Your visitor visa can be converted to work visa or work permit if you have LMI from an employer. But remember that if you get work visa and it is based on LMI, it will be a closed work permit. But on the other hand, if you have Super Visa, then you cannot convert your Super Visa to work permit or work visa. Our next point is total cost if you want to apply visitor visa or Super Visa. Visitor visa is way less expensive as compared to Super Visa because if you apply for Super Visa for your parents and grandparents, then you need to buy medical insurance and provide medical examination as well. But for visitor visa, you are not required to have any medical exam and medical insurance. So because of the medical insurance and medical examination, Super Visa is way more expensive than visitor visa. Both types of visa has same application fee of 100 Canadian dollars and biometric you need to pay 85 Canadian dollars. So let's discuss next point, which is very important for every applicant who wants to bring their parents or family members to Canada and they are confused which option is more suitable for them. Should they go for visitor visa or Super Visa? So we will try to address these questions in this part. If you are a student and you want to sponsor your parents to Canada, then visitor visa is the best option for you. If you are living inside Canada on temporary residence visa, work permit, LMI or without work permit, in short, if you have any kind of work status inside Canada, then you should apply for visitor visa to sponsor your parents to Canada. Here I want to mention that if your parents do not want to stay inside Canada for more than 6 months for any reason, for example, they have a business back home to take care or they are working full-time, etc., then you should choose to apply visitor visa as Super Visa will be expensive for your parents and for you as well. If you are permanent resident or citizen of Canada, you can apply for any type of visa. If your income as a sponsor do not meet income requirement as mentioned under LICO, low income cutoff, then you are not eligible to apply for Super Visa. In this case, you have to apply for visitor visa. But on the other hand, if you want to bring your parents to Canada for more than 6 months and you as a sponsor is a Canadian citizen or permanent resident of Canada and you have an income above LICO, low income cutoff, then you are eligible to sponsor your parents on Super Visa. Let's move to next point. that if you get a Canadian super visa or visitor visa and you are inside Canada and further you want to extend your visitor visa stay or super visa stay, can you extend it or not? Let's discuss this thing. If you are under visitor visa inside Canada, then on single entry you are allowed to stay no more than 6 months inside Canada. If you want to stay more than 6 months inside Canada, then you have to apply in advance for extension of stay inside Canada. Most of the time your extension always get extended, so you can stay more than 6 months if you get accepted. On the other hand, if you are inside Canada and you have super visa, on single entry you can stay maximum of 5 years inside Canada and you can further extend it by 2 years. So in total on single entry you can stay for 7 years inside Canada on super visa. Here on the next point, I want to give a very important information that if you have already visitor visa of Canada, you can still apply for super visa and get your visitor visa converted to super visa. But to convert your visitor visa to super visa, your parents must be out of Canada. Then you can apply for their super visa. If your parents are inside Canada, then you cannot apply for super visa. So for super visa application, your parents has to be outside of Canada. I hope you guys find our videos useful. I always try to bring video which could help you and help you learn and be independent. If you like our videos, please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel. Thank you very much.